Everybody, I'm Paul Knapp. I'm one of the PGY5s in the St. John Macomb-Oakland ortho program. Just wanted to give you guys this presentation that we usually give at our pre-interview dinner. I just wanted to be able to give this to you guys for some more information regarding the program, which is also, just nice to have before the interview, just to be able to formulate some more questions for us or get anything answered that you may be curious about before the interview. So just wanted to give you this website as well, stjohnortho.com. It should have some more of this info for you, just in case there's anything I don't cover today, and just a good reference point. So just some background on the program. Obviously, we are located in the Metro Detroit area. We're going to get to all the locations and hospitals here in a little bit. But two of the main guys that are part of our program are Dr. Best and Dr. Afsari, both great guys to have on your side, great guys to have around for the program, both highly involved in our education and our experience in the operating room. We do currently take 2 residents per year. We have received our initial accreditation per ACGME, and again, the website there on the bottom bullet point for reference. So our residents, this is my co-resident, Matt Jackson. He is originally from the Indianapolis area. He is doing his joints fellowship at Mercy Medical Center in Baltimore, which he was very excited to get, one of his top choices. As I mentioned, I'm Paul. I'm from the Rochester, Michigan area, so not too far from our base hospital. And I'm doing my joints fellowship out in New York City at Lenox Hill. This is Mac Toon, one of our 4th years. He's from the Flint, Michigan area, interested in trauma, and he's applying to trauma fellowships currently, so it remains to be seen where he ends up. Ross Dorman, he is one of our 4th years, originally from the Des Moines, Iowa area. He is applying to shoulder elbow fellowships, and will likely end up back in the Iowa area for practice, working with a couple of our former graduates as well. James, or JT Layson, is one of our 3rd years. He is interested in both trauma and joints. I think at this point he's seen light, and he is probably going into joints. So we'll see where he ends up. Marek is from the New Jersey area, interested in trauma and joints, but I think leaning towards trauma at this point. Raj, one of our 2nd years, originally from the Kalamazoo area, or the west side of the state. And last but not least, our interns. So we have Yvonne from New York, Ben from Indiana, and Jake Waldron from the Flint, Michigan area. And these are some of our recent grads. This is Allison Blumenthal. She is from Fort Wayne area, is doing her sports fellowship out at the Southern Cal Orthopaedic Institute in LA. And then Nick Stockwell from Indiana as well, and he is doing a sports fellowship out at University of Kentucky. So salary stipend information should be provided in an email from Stacy, who's our ortho coordinator. If you haven't gotten this info, please let us know. We can make sure to get that to you. Just want to quickly go over the schedule with you guys from this year. Starting with intern year, which I think is pretty well designed. You're going to get your 6 months of off-service rotations with general surgery, plastic surgery, PM&R, ER, SICU, and IM. And then you're going to have your 6 months of ortho trauma and general ortho. Those are going to be split between both St. John Ross and St. John Oakland. And it's kind of nice because we do bookend it for each intern. You're going to get at least 3 months of the very busy trauma season. You can talk to Ben, one of our interns, and I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing. It was busy, but he was getting a significant amount of autonomy. He was down in the emergency room, obviously with supervision, but doing a lot of the reductions, traction pins, aspirations, injections all by himself. And then getting, a good experience in the operating room too. We're not keeping interns up on the floor, with the PAs all day. You're down in the operating room with us, learning how to operate. So I think it's pretty well designed. Second year, you start branching off into your specialty rotations. You're going to get your 3 months of spine, 3 months of joints, 3 months of trauma back at St. John Ross, and then also start with your 3 months of pediatrics at Children's Hospital of Michigan, which is also, a great rotation, very busy call schedule, but you definitely get all your peds numbers and good education there as well. PGY3, you're going to have at least 1 month of elective rotations to start getting your letters of rec if you decide you wanted to do a fellowship. 4 months of joints, 3 more months of peds, 2 months of hand. Those months of hand are with a couple of private practice hand surgeons in the area that are very, very great to work with, both doing endoscopic carpal tunnels as well, which you don't get to see in every program. And then also 2 months of sports over at Providence and Providence Park. Fourth year, you're going to get 2 months of research, which is also usually scheduled around the middle of the year to help with flexibility for fellowship interviews as well. 2 months of electives, again, to get those letters of rec for potential fellowship. 2 months of trauma, 2 months of joints, 2 months of sports, and then 2 months of dedicated foot and ankle. As a 5, I think it is fantastic how it's scheduled. You get 3 months of joints, 3 months of sports, which majority of us go into one of those two. Obviously, you're going to see here we've had people go into everything, but that's pretty common. And then you also get 6 months of trauma, which no matter what you end up doing, you're going to be taking a trauma call. So you got to know how to do that. And so you get 6 months with Best FSRA and FOS down in Ross to finish out your residency. So Ascension St. John Oakland, that is our base site. It's also a sister hospital with Ascension Macomb. Dr. Best, Hill, and Klein all take call there. So as we mentioned earlier, as an intern, you're going to be doing a lot of your cases there as well. It is a nice setup. All those guys definitely give you autonomy. You're not just sitting and watching as an intern in the OR. You're getting your hands dirty. You're doing quite a bit of the case. Obviously, kind of in a graduated autonomy scenario, but I think a very good education even from the start. So this is also where our med ed office is. Stacy, who we talked about, her office is there, and Dr. Bretto, who is our DME, are all based out of there. This is just a brief overview of Dr. Klein's resume. He is a new guy that was brought in a little over a year ago now from UPMC. Definitely has a very impressive background in terms of being involved in their ortho program over at UPMC and also at Temple. So great guy to have. He shows up to the education often, our sawbones labs or cadaver labs to give his insight as well. These are just some shots of cases that you might see over at St. John Oakland. Definitely get a lot of hand cases with some of the machinery, jobs that people have in factories around that area. And then also a lot of bread and butter trauma and arthroplasty as well. Next is going to be St. John Hospital and Medical Center, also known as Morass. This is our level 1 trauma center. It is within the Detroit city limits, also on the border of Grosse Pointe. If you're not familiar with the area, those are very different parts of town, but it makes for a very interesting experience because you are going to get, a large variety of cases. And as I mentioned, it says there, it's also level 2 pediatric trauma center. So we do get pediatric cases here as well. Both Dr. Best and FSRA are well trained in pediatric trauma. You are going to get some arthroplasty there with guys like Dr. Shramsky, Dr. FSRA, and any of the other guys that are bringing cases there as well. This is a PGY 1 through 5 rotation, so you do get to get familiar with this location and this hospital throughout your training. And by the end, obviously, how things work, the staff, the attendings, which is definitely very helpful in training. And then as I mentioned, as it says there, we do have mid-level coverage and assistance, which is really nice as residents because we are in the operating room during the day. Obviously, we're assisting them with any reductions, injections, aspirations that are happening on the floor, the ER, but they do take care of a lot of the discharge, summaries, a lot of the notes, things that keep us in the operating room during the day, which is, just invaluable. As I mentioned there, these are the guys that we work with. As we mentioned, FSRI Best already. Dr. Foz is a trauma-trained surgeon. He did his fellowship out at University of Missouri. He is a former Beaumont Royal Oak resident as well, really good guy to work with. And he is on staff there with Dr. Best and FSRI, so he's becoming more and more involved with the program. Dr. Mansour is a former resident at McLaren Pontiac, did his trauma fellowship at DMC, so he does take call with us there. And then Dr. Frisch, Dr. Marshall, and Dr. Shramsky, who are all elective service-based, but take call there, especially on weekends. So get to work with them, get significant autonomy with them. Just good guys to be around too. So these are just some pictures from St. John Ross that we've crewed over the past couple of years. But as you can see, some pretty high energy trauma. There is a significant portion of our cases that are from MVCs, motorcycle accidents, also pedestrian versus auto, and gun and knife wounds as well. So we see just about everything you could think of, and we do not ship pretty much anything. We keep pediatric cases that we do. We keep the complicated acetabulums, complicated pelvis fractures. Best, Foz, FSRI are all very well trained in all those. So really nice that we're keeping all that in-house. And we get to follow it through. So you get to do these cases, especially first you see them in the ER, you do the reduction, you put in the traction pin, you follow them to the operating room, we do the case, then you go to the trauma clinic and you follow them out. So you can really get a well-rounded experience. And again, just more pictures of some of the cases we do over at Moros. So this is Ascension Providence. This one's based in Southfield, Michigan. This is a PGY 2 through 5 rotation, mostly elective service. So you're going to be doing a significant portion of joints, sports cases when you're there. This is also where you do part of your spine rotation. This and the next one we're going to talk about are kind of one rotation that we cover when you're on that service. It is a progressive autonomy, so you do get to work with pretty much the same guys from your second year all the way through your chief year. So you get to know them very well, they get to know you very well, and they get pretty comfortable at letting you do a significant portion of the case, if not all the case. So very good experience for us. Again, we do have mid-level coverage and assistance here. Those teams there are just fantastic. They are, again, working while we're in the operating room most of the day. Obviously, we're checking in with them before we leave. They're letting us know if there's something the ER that we need to take care of, or on the floor we need to take care of. But again, pretty much uninterrupted operating room time. So it's a very good rotation for us. Now, this is the home site of the Providence residency program, which you guys may be familiar with at this point, that we do work alongside the MD program from Providence. They take 3 residents per year, and we basically work kind of, hand in hand, right? We're on the same schedule. We're making the call schedule together. We're making the OR schedule together.